It is still possible to create content online and go viral in this day and age. Everybody's a content creator now. Like, it's so saturated. What is the point? What do you say to people that is their like limiting belief as to why they have decided not to show up?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are discouraged because the market is so oversaturated. But here's the thing, no one is you. No one will bring to the table what you can bring to the table.
Hola, mi gente. Welcome back to Yo Quiero Dinero. On today's show, we have a very special guest who has something very much in common with me. She is an incredible Latina food blogger. And yes, there are more than one of us. I'm super excited to introduce Miss Elena from Made with Sazón. You guys might have seen her content all over social media. She is sharing Caribbean, Puerto Rican inspired recipes. And I am so excited to dive into the world of blogging with her. So, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, I would love to start off with you telling us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and the inspiration for the content that you now share online.
Yes. So my name is Elena. My platform is Made with Sazón. I am a food content creator. I specialize in Caribbean recipes, mainly Puerto Rican recipes. I am Puerto Rican. And I didn't always start out as a food blogger. I come from a background of hair and beauty.
Okay.
So that's where it all began many years ago. I want to say 2015
Yeah.
was when I started with that and evolved into food years later.
I love that. Okay. And like, what were you doing professionally outside of content creation?
So I am a writer. That's like what I studied in school. I studied business marketing and majored in writing. I worked for publications, like, intern in college, straight out of college. I worked at magazines and entertainment. Then a few years after is when I started creating hair and beauty content. So I worked with many beauty brands, hair care brands, and that's what I did for, I want to say, maybe 5 years. And then, so I got married, I had my children, and that's when I started to transition into lifestyle. So I was sharing lifestyle content. I created my website, and it started as a lifestyle blog.
Okay.
So I had my children, and I found myself in the kitchen a lot because I'm cooking for them, and that kind of ignited the passion that I had for cooking. I've always loved to cook since I was young. I remember my mom cooking in the kitchen, and I would always come in and watch her. So it's something that I always had a passion for. I just never really ventured into it
Okay.
until I became a mother myself.
Got it.
So that was the inspiration.
Okay. I love kind of the journey that you've taken us through because one of the things that stresses out a lot of people when they're thinking about starting to make content online is like, well, what topic do I pick? And oftentimes we're like multifaceted, right? So you mentioned you were into hair and then you're doing lifestyle and now you're doing food. So can you kind of give us a insight into the behind the scenes of like how you landed on these different niches and like what level of success did you have with the hair and beauty? Did you see that as like that was gonna be the future or the long-term plan, or did you kinda go into this process just understanding that where you start is not necessarily where you're gonna finish?
I definitely had to rediscover myself. When I was doing hair and beauty, I loved it. It was what I wanted to do, and I enjoyed it while I was doing it. When I started creating content, hair and beauty content, I don't think that it was as successful as I wanted it to be. And that's probably why it fizzled. And once I started a family, I didn't really see myself doing that anymore.
Mhm.
Like, kind of like the spark was gone. I
Yeah.
wasn't into it. I wasn't seeing anything come from it. So again, I had to rediscover myself. I started cooking a lot more, and I found that joy in the kitchen.
Mhm.
And so that's what inspired me to start creating food content. And at the time, I was creating lifestyle content for the blog, although I was uploading recipes from time to time because I did like kind of incorporate that into the lifestyle. It wasn't very often. So when I started to do that more, it felt much better when I was creating food content because I felt that joy of creating and it felt like home, like it felt right. So I kept sharing food content and I wasn't seeing a lot of engagement on those posts in the beginning. And so I wasn't getting views, I wasn't getting followers. And I realized later on the reason why. And it's because I was very general when sharing food content. It was very random. I hadn't chosen a niche. It was very all over the place. Like I was
Mhm.
sharing an Italian recipe and then I was sharing like, a Mexican recipe or an Asian dish that I made for my family. And no one was really listening to what I had to say. It wasn't until I started sharing Puerto Rican recipes that people started to pay attention
Mm.
and like started following me and the engagement was going up. So fast forward like maybe 2 or 3 years later is when I started to share Puerto Rican recipes on my website and on social media. And I remember it was the holiday season, 2022, and I shared my coquito recipe and it went completely viral. And that was my like aha moment when I saw all the followers come in and all the love and like I grew like 10,000 followers overnight and I was like,
Wow.
"Oh my god, like I finally did it."
That was the moment. I remember that moment too. For me, funnily enough, it was not a Puerto Rican recipe that was my first viral thing. And it went viral on Facebook, which I think is just an impossible thing to do nowadays. Facebook is like a fucking desert. But back in the day, they used to have these really big like forums and groups that people would join to get recipes. And so I posted like, I think it was like a stuffed shells recipe in there. And I had done a little remix by adding rotisserie chicken, like shredded up into the mix and some spinach. And I don't know what it was about that recipe. I think it was because it helps you repurpose like very common ingredients that we have in the house. It went so viral that my website literally crashed. And I was like, oh shit, I learned about how important it is to have flexible bandwidth in your host plan because you just never know when that viral moment is going to happen for you. And then, God forbid, your website is not equipped to handle that load. There goes a bunch of potential eyeballs. So, fun lesson, y'all. Learn about hosting plans and how important it is to have bandwidth capacity. Um, but that's incredible. Okay. So I want folks to also hear that you said 2022. Okay. Like it is still possible to create content online and go viral in this day and age, which I think a lot of people would, you know, they hear about starting a content brand and they're just like, oh, but everybody's a content creator now. Like it's so saturated. What is the point? What do you say to people that is their like limiting belief as to why they have decided not to show up?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are discouraged because the market is so oversaturated. But here's the thing, no one is you. No one will bring to the table what you can bring to the table. And as Puerto Rican content creators, Puerto Rican recipes are very similar. We're all cooking the same food. We're all using basically the same ingredients, but no one's going to cook it the way you do. No one has your voice. No one has your personality.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is very important to note that, yeah, people will watch what you're doing, but if they see something in you that is relatable or, oh my God, my mom also puts olives in the pollo
Mhm.
guisado
Yo,
or like,
people love to argue about yes or no olives in our recipes.
oh
Jesus.
my god. People fight in the comments all day about it. I love it.
That's so good. I love what you're saying too because um there is something to be said about the hyper niche, right? Where you're not just going to talk about food, you're going to talk about a specific type of food, Puerto Rican food in your case. And that is, I think, the thing that people miss. They want to serve everybody by having content for everybody, but it actually ends up serving nobody because people don't even know like what the hell you're about. They don't know like what makes you the expert in this specific lane. So I think it's just such a good reminder that you might think that there's not enough people that care about this, but I promise you, like anywhere that you come from in the world, there's millions of people that also have like that shared culture, that shared experience that maybe just want a touch of home and you can be the person that provides that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I've seen your content, and what I love about it is that it addresses one of the number one fears that people have around content creation, which is, do I need to share my face in order to create content? You are not. You are really just showcasing the food. You're showcasing the cooking process, the ingredients, the end results, but we rarely see you, at least like on your short form content. And I'm curious, was that an intentional decision or did you take inspiration from other stuff that you saw?
I've always been that way with creating content. That was just like my kind of style when I started, even to this day. Like I don't really show my face on most of my videos. And I don't know, I actually struggle with that because I see other creators showing up more and I'm like, maybe I need to pivot cuz now things are different than they were before. And I am trying to show myself more, especially now that I'm on YouTube more often. On YouTube, I am showing up more. I'm showing my face. I'm showing like, myself cooking, tasting on camera because people love to see that. So, yeah, I'm pushing myself this year to switch things up and stay consistent because like you said before, like everything changes, everything evolves. And I think that's important as a content creator. You have to keep pushing yourself and changing things.
Mhm. Yeah. It is important to evolve, but I think if one of these like, limiting beliefs is the thing that's keeping you stuck, like, oh, my camera's not good enough, or my setup isn't good enough, or I don't have enough experience talking to the camera. It's like at some point you're just gonna have to get out of your own damn way. Because the only way that you're actually going to get those skills is to start using them. And I always like to remind my own food blogging students that listen, your content is gonna cringe you the F out. Like, when you look back at your first blog post, at your first TikToks, you're gonna be like, "Who the hell did she think she was, acting like she knew what she was doing?" So, it is all part of the journey. You have to embrace the fact that you are going to literally, like, evolve in public, and that's okay. That's actually the only way that you can actually grow.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk dinero, right? We talk about money on this show. How do you actually make money as a food content creator right now?
Whew, so it took many, many years for me to finally see like a steady stream of income. And that's one thing that I tell people that sometimes ask me, like, how'd you do it? How do I start? Like, what do I do? And I tell them, listen, if you want to be a blogger, if you want to be a content creator, you have to understand the money is not going to come in the beginning.
Yep, fact.
You need patience. You have to stay consistent and you have to like see the big picture because if you're expecting to get paid right away, it's not happening.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. I want to say it took me almost 4 years to
that
just
sounds
start
about right.
seeing something, a little something.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning it was crickets. It was like, nothing, just pennies.
Mhm.
So you have to stay in it. You have to stay in it. You have to stay consistent and believe that it will come because it will.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'm now 2022 is when I started being very consistent. So I'm going into like year 3, almost 4 years now. And now is that I'm seeing like the money come in every month.
Mhm. And
Consistent.
where's that coming from? Like, what are your different income streams?
So I earn revenue from the website and I also earn from brand collaborations from social media. That's like my main bread and butter
Mhm.
right now. And my next goal is to monetize on YouTube because right
Okay.
now I monetize on Instagram and I monetize on Facebook.
Mhm. So you're part of, like, the creator funds.
Yes.
Okay. And then when you say you're monetizing the website, so do you host ads on your site?
Yes.
Okay. What's your ad provider?
I host through Bluehost, and I get paid by Ezoic. That's
Okay.
where I run my ads.
Yeah. So Ezoic is a display ad agency. So essentially you have to have a certain level of traffic in order to qualify for ads through them. And it's a great way to start creating that passive income, right? When people go onto the site, they check out your recipes, all those eyeballs lead to dollars. Um, I'm curious, how do you get brand deals? Are you working with a talent agency? Are you part of like influencer marketing networks? Do you go and like cold pitch brands? Is it a combination?
So in the beginning, I was sending out cold pitches. I was creating organic content and tagging the brands, trying to get their attention. I am signed up to like all the influencer networks. So I try to diversify, try to get myself out there so that people, see my content and they know my name. Right now I do have a manager, but that's very, very recent. I just signed maybe like 2 months ago. So that's new. And it's been amazing ever since. Like I notice everything is picking up quickly now that I have management. So that's amazing. To not have to just do everything alone.
Yeah, especially if you are a solo creator. So I understand you're like filming your stuff, you're editing, you're posting, you're doing all the things by yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So we love a queen who knows when it's time to ask for help. And, looking for brand partnerships, that is a full time job, y'all. And also, I think it's very important to have someone on your side who is well versed in the industry because oftentimes you're getting very complicated legal contracts to sign and you might not necessarily understand like what rights you're signing away to this content that you're creating on behalf of brands. So it's very important for you to know what things are like whitelisting and exclusivity and all the legal jargon that comes with being an influencer. So I'm glad to hear that you are, not letting yourself be taken advantage of by having somebody who can help you navigate the very like shadowy world of influencer marketing because a lot of people just don't even understand like how any of this works.
Yeah, it's so much. Like I've been doing this alone for so many years. I had to like educate myself to like understand what all these terms mean and know what I'm doing when I'm signing these contracts.
Hmm.
But yeah, it feels really nice to have someone helping out now.
I love that. Okay. One of the things that cracks me up when people are kind of thinking about starting a content based brand is, oh my God, like, what is the family going to say? Or what are my friends going to think? Or like, what are people going to say about the fact that I'm like out here online doing stuff? Did any of that ever give you pause to be like, I don't know if I want to be like famous on the internet?
Definitely, yes. I am actually not someone to always be out and about, like around people and wanting people in my business and in my personal space. So it is a struggle putting myself out there the way that I do, but it has also helped me grow as a person and it has gotten me out of my comfort zone.
Mm.
So it's been a blessing, honestly.
Yeah. I love that. It's really important. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand you're signing up for a lot of personal development when you start these like side hustles and entrepreneurial ventures, if you will. I feel like entrepreneurship for me has been such a powerful personal development tool that has helped me address like, my insecurities and like the being okay with being seen and just like advocating for your worth and like negotiating. Like there's so much stuff that comes when we decide to do this stuff. So I think, if you have some areas of your life that you want to work on, maybe you're like super shy and you want to get past that, or you want to work at public speaking, or you just want to just get better at kind of owning your identity. Go and put content out there and see like what it does to you psychologically. It's going to force you to confront all of your limiting fears for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I'm curious, what have you been able to accomplish so far that like if you were to talk to yourself 5, 10 years ago, you're just like, there's no way. There's no way that we're the same person.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I grew so much, especially after I figured out like what I was doing wrong. And what I needed to do the whole time was just like tap into my culture, tap into my roots, be my true authentic self. That's what I want to tell my younger self. Like, girl, just be you. That's what you
Mhm.
needed to do all along.
Yeah.
And I would have saved so much time, but that's life, you know. We have to figure things out and like make mistakes
Yeah.
to find the way.
You know what I think is interesting about that? That oftentimes, especially like as if women of color, when we go into the working world, I think oftentimes we are programmed to do the exact opposite, where it's like, do not be too Latina. Do not be too extra. Don't be too anything. Like, do whatever you need to do to blend in, to not take up space, to be quiet, right? To not get noticed. And so then I think when you decide to lean into your authentic self as a content creator, it almost requires this reprogramming of what it means to be yourself, because I think many of us show up very like code switched and compartmentalized in more traditional settings. Would you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. And like in my experience, I was always a people pleaser. Like I just wanted to be what they wanted me to be, you know?
Mm,
And it wasn't until very recently that I was like, no, no. Like we're going to do what we want to do and show up as ourselves.
yes.
And everything changed. Everything changed after that.
Yeah. Have you always been made with Sazón on the internet, or has your handle changed throughout time?
It did change. So
Okay.
when I was doing hair and beauty, my platform was Curls and Pearls. And that's when I started blogging. So
Hmm.
I built the website under curlsandpearls.com. And so even till today, that's the website name. When I switched over to food, I created a vanity URL so that if you type madewithsazon.com on your browser, it'll redirect to my website.
So
And
that
then
was intentional not to lose like all the traffic and the SEOs that you
right,
built.
because it was so many years of, like, you know, work put into that, and my SEO is great right now. I was like, "Oh, I don't really wanna touch that. I wanna, like, let it do its thing."
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I did a redirect.
Okay. Brilliant. Y'all are getting like some inside tea into like a little bit of the tech of how internet blogging works. So I'm curious too, like, how did you teach yourself how to start a website?
So, I did not build the website. I hired someone to do that for me, and, everything else I did have to figure out on my own, Google, YouTube, asking around, literally. I had to just educate myself and learn all the things, and, every now and then, like, I have a crash or whatever the case, I do have, like, a tech guy that, helps me out every now
Mhm.
and then,
Okay.
but everything else is all me.
Yeah. DIY.
Mhm.
I love it. I mean, I think that's kind of, you have to get very scrappy too when you're just starting out, when you don't have funds to hire somebody to do stuff. There's a lot of like plug and play tools that exist nowadays for you to get a website up and running. So I never want to hear that like tech is the limiting factor for people, because it is so much easier than it was, even 10 years ago, to have a beautiful website that has full functionality. Um, Again, I think it's just one of those limiting beliefs. It's like when people say, I'm not good with money because I'm not good at math. I'm like, relax. That's literally not even related. If you can watch a YouTube video, you can start a website. I'm just saying. Okay, so you are now building your platform on YouTube, and I'm curious, what was your inspiration to do so?
Wow, so that has always been a major goal since the beginning. I've always wanted to be a YouTuber and, obviously bring in that YouTube money. So I always, had it, like, in the back of my mind, like, one day I'll start the channel, one day I'll create, you know, the content, and I'll shoot the long form video and all the things. But life gets crazy, and, you know, I had kids and I got busy and so many, roadblocks in the way. But this year I said, "No more. I have to just start. I have to start somewhere, because if not, it's never gonna happen."
Mhm.
So finally, I shot my first video, and I was gonna wait until next year to upload it because I wanted to have, like, at least 5 episodes done before, And my husband was like, "No, share it. Like, let's get that feedback going. Let's find out if the people like it, and then you can go from there."
Mhm.
And I was like, "You know what? That's a brilliant idea. Let's
We
just
love a
go."
supportive husband around here, okay? Shout out, boo. Yes to, like, supporting the dreams.
Yeah, and it was the best idea ever. I felt so empowered, like, when I clicked that button and published the first video, and, I got amazing feedback. Like, I was like, "Oh my god, like, people are watching, people
Yeah.
love it." And, it was beautiful. My mom was my first guest
Aw,
on the show, so it was, like, a very special moment, and, literally, it was a dream come true.
yeah. I'm curious as a mom, how do you structure your days to be able to do all the what momming entails, but then also have the time to be a content creator?
Oh, I often ask myself all the time, like, "How do I even do it?" It's crazy. It is crazy. I would say, like, enrolling the kids and, like, after school programs and getting them busy helps so much because
Mhm.
keeping them home all day is not it.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be productive that
How
way.
old are they?
So, my daughter is 7
Okay.
and my son is 4.
Yeah, you would not be getting nothing done if they were
No.
at the house.
Nothing at all. Like, they're at that age where they're always bickering and fighting and running and, "Mommy, mommy." No, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So, keeping them busy
Mhm.
is how we stay productive.
Yeah, I love that. Do you structure your days so that, like, maybe one day you're shooting, short form content, one day you're doing YouTube, one day you're blogging, or, like, how does that work as far as what your schedule looks like?
So, I do try to schedule ahead. I have this studio that I rent out for my YouTube videos, which makes things much easier. I don't have to worry about, like, the aesthetics. Everything is already laid out for me.
There's, like, a
All I
kitchen
have
and everything in there?
Yes, there's a full kitchen.
Oh,
It's
cool.
a beautiful, beautiful space. It's only like 15 minutes away from me, so very convenient. It's a blessing. Like, I
Wow.
just book it. I come in with all my props, my food. I cook. I
Mhm.
shoot the video. Usually, it takes me about 3 hours to shoot one episode, and I try to book it at least twice a month so that I
Mm,
can, I'm holding myself accountable to, stay consistent. So I've been good so far. I started, like, in the early summer,
mhm.
and we've been good, so
Wow. That is incredible. Okay. So I can you just give us kind of some insight into how your brand has grown since you got really intentional in 2022? Like what was the first platform that went like super crazy? And also how do you decide where to show up? Right? Because I think that's one question that a lot of people have is like, how do I decide what platform makes sense for my niche? How did you decide?
so when I first went viral in 2022, it was on Instagram, and that was the first platform that really, took off for me with the following and the engagement. Just everything just blew up on
Hmm.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And when I share content, I've always repurposed my content to all platforms, like even Pinterest. I
Hmm.
share my reels to Instagram. It's connected to my Facebook account. I share it to Pinterest. I share it to YouTube Shorts and on TikTok. So I'm all on all platforms. Um, Instagram was the first one to take off. And then Facebook has most recently been the one to take off now even more so than Instagram.
Oh wow. That's interesting.
And I was in shock when that happened. That happened this year for me.
Okay.
And I was like, really? Facebook? Like, for me, Facebook was dead for years.
Right.
Like, it was crickets over there. And then I saw one other creator like earlier this year talking about it. And she said that she was bringing in like most of her money from Facebook. And I
Wow.
was like, that is so interesting. So we had a conversation and I learned a little bit about what she was doing. And I was like, wow, let me try that out. So I started to be more consistent on Facebook and showing up more. And in like less than 2 months, I got monetized. And now I have surpassed my following on Facebook,
Wow.
and I make more money there now than on Instagram.
That is crazy, but you know what? When I think about why this is happening, I think about all of the titis and the abuelitas that all they're doing all day is just scrolling on Facebook. Like, they're literally living on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They fucking sit in the chair all day and they're playing Candy Crush and they're swiping on Facebook videos. So I think that's exactly what's happening. The same way that like my husband is like a younger millennial, so he's just always on YouTube Shorts. You kind of have to know like where the target audience is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's so crazy. That's like the last place that I would have thought, but it has blown up.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
That is wild. Okay. That's brilliant. Now, obviously, with you planning to scale your YouTube presence, how is that affecting or like just changing the way that you decide about what kind of content to create? Because I think it's pretty obvious that like what works on YouTube doesn't necessarily work anywhere else.
Yeah, so I'm fairly new on YouTube, so I'm like testing the waters to see
Yeah.
what works, what doesn't work. So typically, my style is to share my recipe and then lead everyone to the website. So I'll usually say like comment arroz con gandules and I'll send you the link.
And you're
So
using like a DM automation tool like
right.
ManyChat for
So
that.
I automate everything so that they get the link automatically.
Yeah.
And I do that on Instagram, Facebook. On YouTube, I do that as well because it's the same video that I'm posting to shorts.
hmm
And then, like, when people comment, I just have to manually send it. And that's been working because it does boost my engagement and people are commenting.
Yeah.
But lately I've been trying a different style where I don't say comment for the link. I just say, find the recipe in the comments. So
hmm
I'll like post the recipe in the comments to see if people like that more, if that'll get more views, more
Yeah.
engagement.
Yeah.
So testing it out to see right now.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. That's one of the important things to plan is like, what are your call to actions going to be? Like, how are you going to drive people off of these platforms into your own ecosystem, your website? That's such an important thing to do. And I have to say, just like as somebody who teaches blogging, it was so nice to see you have an actual blog because there are so many creators, even in our own space as like Puerto Rican food content creators, that do not have actual websites with their recipes. Like their recipes are in the comments, they're in the description, they're in the caption, and that shit drives me insane because I see people with like hundreds of thousands of followers, and I'm like, if y'all understood how much money you could be making if you had a blog that was being monetized with display ads, if you had your own like custom affiliate link store with products that you're using. I mean, so much money being left on the table. So when I saw that you're doing it right, I was like, she's a girl after my own heart. It's so good to see. Did you do that intentionally or was it because of your writing background? Like, what do you think made you realize, like, I need to have more than just the socials?
So I don't think I was thinking about that in the beginning.
Mhm.
I am a writer, so I needed a place where I can like write.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. But I'm so happy that it did because it just made sense. Like,
Mhm.
some people build the following on social and then they do the website. I did the opposite. I did the
Yeah.
website first and then I built the socials.
Yeah.
So it worked out for me.
Well, and it makes so much sense, right? Because if you're thinking about what do I do when I do have that viral moment? If you have that viral moment and you don't have anywhere to send people, you don't have an email list at the bare minimum, a website, somewhere where folks can actually like go and engage with you on another level, again, that is so much money left on the table. And potentially these people are never going to see you again if they are not able to get out of your ecosystem on social media. So you did it right. A plus. Outstanding. Let's talk about something that is concerning a lot of content creators, AI. How do you use AI, if at all, with your own content creation? I know you mentioned like DM automation. A tool like ManyChat is something that you probably have seen if you're listening to this podcast and you hang out on social media. There's a lot of creators who are using this in order to get you information, to kind of opt out of that whole like link in bio thing from the past. But I'm curious how AI plays into your content creation. And is there anything that like stresses you out about it? Or are you kind of one of these like pro AI creators?
So with AI, I want to say I was kind of late to the party. Like, I think a lot of people were experimenting with AI and it was just very new to me and it just felt like off-putting a little bit. I wasn't interested in trying it out at first.
Yeah.
And then the first time that I tried ManyChat was when I had that viral post
Mm.
with the coquito. Like I at first was just sending out the link manually. And then once I started getting like thousands and thousands of DMs, I was like, okay,
This is
I
not
can't
gonna work.
no. And so that's when I signed up for ManyChat with that post.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history. Like I still use it till this day.
Amazing. Do you use AI for any kind of like content creation and kind of like scripting ideas or like blog writing ideas, content planning?
So I just recently started testing Chat GTP. And I don't use it often, but I do find it helpful when I'm stumped on like writing a caption or I need like a punchline or something, clever to
Hmm.
add to my content. I do use Chat GTP for that. When I'm trying to figure out like my titles for my YouTube videos, that has been very helpful.
Yeah.
Like an SEO driven catchy viral caption for this recipe.
Hmm.
That is, has been very helpful
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. I love it. There's so many different ways that you can use it. And I think it's important because the technology is not going anywhere. I think as a creator, we have to again embrace the evolution of our world. And when you understand the tools that exist and you can utilize them to your benefit, I think it only makes you more stronger. I think it makes you stronger and a more resilient creator. So for anybody who's like out here concerned about like, is AI going to replace content creators? I would not bet on that. I think it's just going to make the ones that know how to utilize the technology for its benefits kind of rise to the top.
Mhm.
Okay. So what's next? I mean, I feel like we need to see you on the Today Show. We need like a cookbook. We need all the things because what you're doing is freaking fabulous.
Thank you. Absolutely, amen. Like, I am dreaming of, being on these, news channels and all the shows and, red carpets and cookbooks,
Yes.
like, all the things. I literally write it in my journal and visualize to manifest all of these things. I think one step at a time,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get there.
You absolutely are. And I think honestly, one of the things that you're doing with your YouTube channel is you're really allowing people to see you on a new level now, right? Now that you are like putting yourself in front of the camera, I think it's going to help elevate you to a new level of stardom, if you will. Um, where can folks find you? Where can we get these recipes? Where can we get in all the magic that is made with Sazón?
So you can find my recipes on my website, madewithsazon.com, and I'm on all platforms at Made with Sazon.
Amazing. Elena, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking us behind the scenes of what it looks like to be a content creator, the pitfalls, the lessons learned. All of these things are going to be really inspirational to folks that listen to the show that think that the world of content creation is kind of like it's done, it's saturated. I promise you it's not. What is actually working is really leaning into what makes you uniquely you that nobody else can replicate and I do have to say that I feel like there is such a hunger for like cultural content, right? People don't want generic, made for everybody content anymore. Like the content creators that I see winning, like yourself, are the ones that are like, what makes me uniquely me? What do I have to offer to the world? How can I package it in a way that I'm excited to share and just keep doing the damn thing? So, thank you so much for being here and much success to you. I'm looking forward to that cookbook, honey, because we need more Puerto Rican cookbooks out here, okay?
Thank you so much for having me. Super honored to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.